Hello and welcome to our English news edition broadcast to you from Canal, Algérie. First, to the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, signs a presidential decree appointing Yassine Wild Moussa as advisor to the presidency in charge of economic affairs. The Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saïd Shingriha, on a visit to Qatar, where he visits the Algerian frigate 911 and takes part in the opening ceremony of the Middle Eastern Naval Commanders Conference. And Spain's policy shift on Western Sahara is still arousing numerous reactions in Spain and elsewhere, denouncing the Spanish Premier's latest statement. Good evening, those were today's headlines. First, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, signed on Tuesday a presidential decree appointing Yassine Wild Moussa advisor to the President in charge of the economic affairs. The Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saïd Shingriha, is on an official visit to Qatar, where he paid a visit to the Algerian frigate destroyer 911. He also attended the official opening ceremony of the Middle Eastern Naval Commanders Conference. Ines Kellou has more details.
Lieutenant General Saïd Shingriha, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, took part on Tuesday on the second day of his official visit to Qatar in the opening ceremony of the Middle Eastern Maritime Command's Conference. This conference focuses on international challenges in securing the seas and the Middle East region, which requires maintaining a permanent readiness of the naval forces. At the Hamad port in Doha, a number of countries participated in the Maritime Defense Exhibition DMEX 2022 with ships including the frigate Al Mudammir or destroyer, ship number 911, belonging to our naval forces, which left the port of Algiers on March 4, 2022. The Lieutenant General visited the multi-session ship in the presence of the Major General, Commander of the Naval Forces, and the Algerian Ambassador to Doha. On this occasion, the Lieutenant General addressed the numbers of ship's crew, reminding them of the importance of Algeria's participation in this exhibition. I'm here today to support you. Thank you and congratulate you for this successful participation. The participation of Frigate 911 in the exhibition held by the brotherly country of Qatar. Thank you very much. In addition, Lieutenant General Saïd Shingriha visited the training ship Doha QTS 91 belonging to the Mohammed bin Ghanem Naval School, which serves to train the first Qatari class in the framework of the national training of naval officers. In this regard, Lieutenant General Saïd Shingriha called for scheduling a visit to Algeria for the benefit of this ship during the training period. Later in the day, he signed the Golden Book before receiving a symbolic gift from the commander of the ship, Doha QTS 91. Lieutenant General Saïd Shingriha once again visited the DMEX 2022 exhibition, where he visited the Chinese stand and received a presentation on the latest Chinese military products.
Moving on to the parliamentary activity, and at the Council of the Nation, the draft amendment to the law amending and supplementing the law on the exercise of trade union rights was presented. This took place during a plenary session chaired by Salah Goujil, Speaker of the Council. On the occasion, the Minister of Labour, Youssef Sharfa, said that the text provides a legal framework conducive to the missions of trade unions. In accordance with international labour standards, it consolidates also the legal guarantees that give employees and employers the right to freely create trade unions in order to defend the material and moral interests of their members. Still at the Council of the Nation, where the Minister of Finance, Abdelrahman Rawiya, presented to the committee in charge of economic and financial affairs the draft law on budgetary regulations for the year 2019. On Tuesday, the Minister of Justice Abdelrashid Tabbi made a presentation at the National People's Assembly on the organic draft bill setting the modalities for the election of members of the Magistrates Supreme Council and its organization and operation rules. This was during a plenary session chaired by the President of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, in the presence of the Minister in charge of relations with the Parliament, Basma Azwar. On the occasion, the Minister of Justice emphasized the need to preserve the achievements of the magistrates, guarantee their independence, and protect them from any external pressure. The President of the Constitutional Court, Omar Belhaj, took part in the General Assembly of the Union of Arab Constitutional Courts and Councils held in Cairo via video conference. The meeting was about the examination of candidacies for the position of Secretary General and Assistant Secretary General of the Union. The Union of Arab Constitutional Courts and Councils has 15 Arab institutions of constitutional review. It was first created through Algeria's initiative, which hosted its founding Congress. The union was set up to consolidate cooperation and exchange of experience as well as expertise between Arab constitutional institutions in the field of constitutional justice. Moving on to cooperation, the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Abdelbaki Ben Zian, along with his Tunisian counterpart, supervised from Tunis the launch of 25 projects and 6 laboratories selected by the Algerian-Tunisian Joint Commission. Several research topics were singled out by researchers from both countries. The Algerian group Asmidal, subsidiary of Sonatrach and Manal, along with the Chinese companies Wuhan and Tinanan, have signed out Tuesday a shareholders pact under Algerian law to start the preliminary activities for the creation of a joint stock company for the development of the integrated phosphates project. The new company, named Algerian Chinese Fertilizers Company, is 56% owned by Algeria. The investment of about $7 billion is the first integrated project in Algeria in the field of mining and fertilizer production. The company will eventually produce 5.4 million tons of fertilizer per year and will generate about 12,000 jobs. The signing ceremony took place in the presence of the CEO of the Algerian National Oil and Gas Company, Sonatrach, Toufiq Hakar. New reactions to Spain's policy shift. Politicians, human rights activists, and representatives of civil society denounce what they term a mistake. The call is unanimous to the authorities to abandon this illegal decision. More insights on this thorny issue with Ines Quillo.
The Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has been criticized from all sides in Spain as he risked making a policy shift on Western Sahara, arousing a deep concern within the ruling coalition in favor of self-determination for the Sahrawi people, denounced Podemos's radical left allies. That this decision was contradicted by the voice of Labour Minister Yolanda Díaz, and besides Podemos, all political parties, such as the PP Right Party, denounced the shift in the Sahara issue, which calls on the Socialist Prime Minister to explain his decision on the subject, which had been consensus for 47 years, and the departure of the Spaniards from the Sahara in 1975. Among the reactions that keep coming in, those of several Spanish politicians and members of parliament.
We still don't know if Alvarez informed Algeria or not, I would like to ask questions because I think that even the head of government sent a letter to the King of Morocco because nobody explained this, nor how this decision was taken. The credibility of our country at the international level with this incoherent policy is undoubtedly put into question. We have demanded that Sanchez appear before the parliament. It is not possible that Sanchez, in a cowardly way, protects himself behind the back of Mr. Alvarez at the level of external commission. The issue is sufficiently important that explanations are given in plenary sessions. We must explain the motives and the consequences, and if there are interests with Morocco in this historic decision, a decisive turn in our international policy. This is a call that all parliamentary groups are asking Mr. Sanchez to make. We must not be misled. It is not worth integrating the subject of this obligatory appearance that Mr. Sanchez must make after the Council of Europe, where everything is mixed up so that this issue goes unnoticed.
We have requested the appearance of Pedro Sanchez to inform about the change of position of the Spanish government regarding Western Sahara, which is seen as a betrayal of the Sahrawi people and a violation of the UN resolutions regarding the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination.
From Izquierda Unida, we totally reject the PSO's U-turn on Western Sahara and its cut with Spain's historical position linked to the UN resolutions. All our efforts, support and solidarity will continue with the Sahrawi cause, including its legitimate right to self-determination, and that can be expressed through a referendum. We consider this new position of the Spanish government as a real recklessness. The Spanish government has broken with the resolutions of the United Nations and international laws. This is a serious turnaround. That is why the Ciudadanos party has demanded since Friday that Alvarez and Pedro Sanchez appear before both houses of parliament to give explanations on this issue.
On the other hand, the Association of Friendship with the Sahrawi People in Sevilla launched a call to demonstrate against the new position of the Spanish government on the conflict of Western Sahara. The association invited the inhabitants of the city to a protest movement against this decision of the head of government, Pedro Sanchez. The association calls for a general mobilization in support of the Sahrawi people and their fair struggle for freedom and independence. It rejects this decision of the Spanish authorities, who have abandoned their traditional position of neutrality to now side with Rabat, added the Foreign Policy Association on this issue.
It is worth recalling that demonstrations are slated for next Saturday and will take place in front of the Spanish Foreign Affairs Ministry in Madrid in order to denounce this Spanish betrayal, the second of its kind against Western Sahara. Meanwhile, the Makhzen regime keeps its exactions against the Moroccan people, who stage daily protests to unacceptable living conditions to the detriment of social justice. The details with me, Zakabash.
The city of Casablanca is the scene of a large operation, marked by a heavy presence of policemen and members of the Moroccan gendarmerie, aiming to destroy several homes, leaving behind 155 poor families homeless. The operation aroused a strong reaction by the owners, who didn't fail to show their refusal concerning this decision, claiming to be victims of the Makhzen regime's injustice.
أنا شارية سكنة هاي سكنة أنا شارية بقعة أرضية.
Here are the documents that prove that I bought a house, not a piece of land. It is a shameful act. Where am I going to go with my orphan children?
يجيبوا في الياجور وينزلوا فيه. علاش ما جاوش قالوا لهم حبسوا ما تخسروش فلوسكم ما ديروش ونهار بغاو.
Why didn't they stop people when they were building? Why come now and destroy everything? We spent our money on these homes. They should at least provide us with other homes.
أي حاجة زد عليكم حيدوها من ديوركم حنا شنو عزيز علينا.
They waited until the last minute to evacuate us, saying that we need to take our essentials out of the house. But we are against this. We want nothing but our houses, which we legally bought via lawyers.
عندي 50 عام انا وانا هنايا 50 عام ما كان حتى واحد هنا انا ولادي كاع زايدين هنايا.
I've been living here for the past 50 years. All of my children were born and raised up here. The responsible for this act must be brought to justice. The Makhzen regime's injustice has no limits. Moroccan citizens aren't safe, not even in their own homes. They are being deprived from life essentials, as it is the case with this young Moroccan woman, who has been dispossessed from her goods worth more than 50,000 dirhams.
كنخلصوا التريته الماء الضوء الام ديالي مريضه عندي مسؤوليه الام ديالي من الشهر خاصها تمشي عند الطبيبه كدوز عندها.
This is a shameful act. I pay my own electricity and water. I have a sick mother who needs medical care every month. All I expect from them is to give me back my merchandise so I can be able to work with my brother. We're all suffering. Meanwhile, the social crisis continues and the Moroccan people are determined to keep their fight against the injustice of the Makhzen regime.
The military operations continue along the Wall of Shame in Western Sahara. The Sahrawi Liberation Army carried out on Tuesday new attacks against positions of the Moroccan occupier in Ros Shidmiya, Ros Sibti and Damran in the Mahbas sector. Other attacks were also carried out by the Sahrawi army against Moroccan soldiers in the region of Jabilat al-Khudr in the Gelta sector. With a storage capacity of 123 million cubic meters, the Brzina Dam located in the province of Al-Bayed has registered an increase of 40%, allowing thus farmers of the region to resume their traditional activities. Melissa Kabash has the details.
After a long drought, the Brzina Dam, designated for the irrigation of palm growth and agriculture in Al-Bayed province, has finally recorded an increase in the volume of water up to 40%. A boon for farmers, especially that a decrease of 60 liters has been recorded last year. We've recorded this March an increase on the volume of water estimated at 3 million cubic meters. Now the volume have reached 19 million cubic meters, a sufficient quantity for the upcoming season. It is worth noting that this dam is mainly used for irrigation. The agricultural irrigation network extends over 26 kilometers. We have a network dedicated for Brzina's palm trees and another designated for the region of Al-Bagra. This increase will allow farmers of the region to resume certain crops that requires a large amount of water, such as potatoes and tomatoes, and provide better quality products. We've been exploiting this dam for the past 10 years. Thank God everything is back to normal. Thank God the Brzina Dam reached a satisfactory filling rate. We can now work without any problems. It is worth noting that 80 files are being processed at the level of the Water Resources Department for the granting of authorizations to drill wells.
The Algerian national football team trained on Tuesday in the capital Malabo in Equatorial Guinea ahead of their World Cup playoff game versus Cameroon next Friday. The Desert Warriors are determined to win their first leg so as to play the away match more comfortably and secure a berth in the upcoming World Cup. And with that, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for your attention.